Well, I too spent quite some time on the town council in the town of Watertown, and I understand how difficult it is to do business when you're relying on revenue from the state, especially when it's yanked halfway through the year, and you have to go back to your taxpayers with a supplemental tax bill. Would it be, in your opinion, fair to say that the small towns are going to receive proportionately less of this, especially if they don't have the economic development like a West Hartford or the city of Waterbury or whatnot? I know just for myself in the town of Watertown, I don't know the number of merchants that we have and how much sales tax we collect, but I can't imagine it being anywhere close to the city of Waterbury. And then to say that it's going to get split up based on a formula for the shopping malls, I almost feel like the negatives outweigh the positives here, because we're really not, in a small town, going to receive much of this, if anything, but we're going to be certainly paying out whenever we go shopping somewhere like a mall.
Well, that was the reason for including the provision for towns that are that are contiguous to those that do have malls, to get at least some distribution. So if Watertown is contiguous to Waterbury, right? So you would get some distribution on a per capita basis out of sales that occur in the Brass Mill, the mall, or any. I don't know if any others would rise to that level, but at least that one in Waterbury, I would assume, would. And so on a per capita basis, the towns that directly connect to Waterbury would get a distribution of that 0.2% of the 0.5, and then in addition, whatever retail there is in Watertown, there would be that 0.5%. So the purpose of this was to kind of cast the net a little more widely and recognize that malls are a special case rather than just normally town-based retail. But yeah, some towns, obviously those that are closest to towns with malls would do better than towns that are more remotely situated, unless the committee decided to expand the formula in a way to water down the per capita grant to cast a wider net than just the first ring of towns next to a mall.
Yeah, I fear that the residents in my town and my district spend a lot of money in cities, but they'll never get that back if the purchase is made in the city. Not many people come to Watertown to shop. I mean, there's a few shops on Main Street. We're trying to improve that, but unfortunately the sales tax revenue isn't going to exceed the amount of dollars that our residents are going to be handing out to larger cities or areas where there's more shopping.
Yes.
My second question has to do, kind of piggybacks off of another question that was asked. Really, to the crux of it, gets down to trust. I think in the past, we were told in a previous administration that if we increased the sales tax, I think we went from 6 to 6.35, this was long before I was here, that the municipalities would get some share of that, maybe not the entire 0.35%, but something. That never seemed to happen. So this time around, my question is, why would this committee and the legislature as a whole believe that perhaps increasing it again, that the municipality would get that revenue back, since it did not happen in the past? Thank you.
Well, I think it's because I think we have an increasing recognition that the towns are in a difficult place and really are hamstrung in their operations by being limited to just those two revenue sources, state aid and what they generate on the local property tax. So I think that there's a stronger recognition that they need some help by diversifying their revenue sources. And I think that recognition is maybe stronger now than it was in the past.